my name is Brandon with Outsider Vinyl. Today I'll be going over the R32 Skyline rear bumper inlays. I have a couple sets pre-cut to demonstrate the ways I found best to apply the vinyl, as well as things not to do. I wanted to make this video to give you guys a better idea of what it looks like when applying, and to let everyone know to take their time. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'll go over are some of the problems that I ran into and some of the things I figured out along the way. So we'll go over what not to do. So with this, peel your transfer tape, get your lettering, and then I started on the what would be the left side going in order. So start on the left side to align it, and then you can push it down a little bit and get it pretty much lined up. Now the problem is, because it's molded into the bumper, you have these raised parts between the straight parts of the S. So if you go to apply just pushing straight down, the transfer tape will pull the vinyl away from the spots that it needs to be. So as you go to do this and then try to apply up here, it takes it off track like so and go around. So you try to just press firm with your finger, go around. But this is just to demonstrate what not to do, or what happens if you do it like this. So as you can see, there's this gap up on the S. So what happens is, because of this piece here, the transfer tape gets pulled when you try to push in the center part first. If you try doing both at the same time, it will actually crease the lettering. So you don't want to do that. But we'll try another letter, same way, just so you guys can see. It's not just one letter that it does it with, it's all of them. You can see how you can start it. You just do a little bit of transfer tape on the edges, and you can kind of angle it just right where you need it. But again, that K fits in there perfect. When you push down here and try to go one way or the other, it tends to want to pull the vinyl or crease it even. So you got to be careful. So you just kind of rub your finger along the edges and get it. Let's see how that one actually went. Not bad. You can see there's a little bit of air bubbles and stuff, which do come out. But if you have a little needle or pin, you can poke them just straight on to get some of the bubbling out. Let's see the lettering, or the K here I should say. That one actually went pretty good. So we'll move over a little bit to the next one. Don't mind the eye. When I last took the reflective off, which is very adhesive, actually pulled the paint off, which I didn't think it would do, but this bumper is in a crappy condition too. So now you can see with the Y, I actually cut it to the shape of the Y this time, instead of just putting it on straight. So what that does is that actually allows you to angle it a little bit better. So now you push down the center here, and now with the edges up, you can angle it just a little bit, and angle as you push to get it just where you want it. Same with the other side. Do the same thing, because the vinyl is pressure sensitive adhesive, so it doesn't really super stick until you apply pressure. So you can see when you have the transfer tape cut to the lettering size, it actually goes on a lot smoother. The Y, the L. L, same thing. I cut it to the shape. And now, like I said, I've been starting most of these on the left side. The Y started at the bottom. Like I said, you just push down the one part, and then with the L, being it's a line like this, it moves quite a bit. So you just got to hold a little tension on it, straight in line with it. as you push down. And once you peel this off, the transfer tape, you're going to want to put a little bit of pressure again and just go over it again. Oops. Bumpers fall on the table. Alright. There we go. And the last part here I'll probably just speed up, but I'll keep talking through it. So, look at that, the eye right on, cut it about the shape. I usually start at the bottom for the eye and apply up. As soon as you push it on there, you can just pull that tape off. And sometimes you got to really press in the corners with your finger. Make sure you get those edges on good, because that's what will come up is the edging. So the N was one of the hardest parts, one of the worst letters to deal with on this. I'll show you this one too. How this one goes because of leaving it. So I didn't cut it to shape here. I just left it a rectangle around the lettering. So again, start on the left side, line it up. The same kind of thing tend to happen to me was as soon as you push down here, it starts to pull the transfer tape off of this part, and it starts to kind of crease it. It's hard to see from that angle, but it's hard to try to get it to line up right because it doesn't want to lay flat in there. That one was a little bit better. A little better than the last time I tried doing it. So, same thing, just want to press around the edges. And that's how you get rid of the little air bubble, but I think that's more so the, oh it is, it's actually the bumper. And here's the E, which is another one that's a pain. Same thing as doing the S. So the same thing as what happened with the S will happen with the E. So you just leave it as a rectangle. What's going to happen is it's going to want to pull. It's the same kind of thing. You line it up, try to get the angle right. Oops, that's a little bit off. So now the same kind of thing is going to happen. So as soon as you go to push down, you push down here to start, and then as you try to go out the lettering, it's going to pull the transfer tape up on these raised parts, and it's not going to lay in there where it's supposed to. It's going to turn it like that, and then it doesn't lay in the spots it's supposed to, and it doesn't even sometimes stick right. So you can see here it's off, didn't line up, it's off, didn't line up. Alright, so now we're going to move on to doing it one of the best ways that I found to do it. Now, I did try to keep in mind I am doing this on a bumper that's not on the car. I know some of you will be doing it with it on the car, but hopefully this will still work out the same. So, this time I'm actually using the carbon fiber. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. So, I'm going to apply it kind of the same way. You can see it's a little bit harder because it is darker to align it right, but it'll go. Okay, now, before I actually apply this one, what I'm going to do is, I did it a couple ways. I either used just a regular X-Acto knife, like this, razor blade, or scissors. So, I'm going to take up the edge, and I'm going to cut, basically a relief cut like this, right down the S. If it comes up like that, like it just did, all you're going to do is put it back down again. It's not that difficult. But the other thing to do is to apply it like this. Push down in that spot. And then it helps quite a bit. So now, since you did the relief, now you can do the upper part of the S separate. You can actually align it way better. Like that. Okay, same thing with doing it the other way. Now you just gotta get it to come up a little. This is where kind of having a few tools is helpful. Let's start from this side. Of course, I'm doing this on a junk bumper, so you guys kind of do it how you got to do it to treat it gingerly. Okay, it's the same thing here. Scissors, relief cut. Okay. That should be good enough. So now I worked it this way, so I work it this way first, from the top down, get it to here, push it out away from it, and now same thing as you did on the top, you can angle it a little and then apply pressure. Now since that's stuck there, the transfer tape will actually come right off. Boom. And you can see you gotta line it just right, or else sometimes you have a little bit of spacing. It's kind of hard to see with that carbon fiber there, huh? You can see I have a little bit of gap here, a little bit of gap there. That's because I should have started in on this side a little bit. Remember, these fit into the lettering, not around the edges. So, same with the K. The K I cut out around the lettering. So we're just going to do the same thing. Align it. Just make sure the angles are right. And this carbon fiber is a lot more reflective than it looks. Alright, you can start one and the other. Doesn't really matter here. And you just push it into the spot that it's got to go. And work its way out. Like that. Alright. Boom. Same thing again here. You just gotta watch when you do your first placement. And then you won't have any gaps. It all fits in there perfect. The carbon fiber really is hard to see with that lighting. There we go. Alright. Move on to the next one real quick. Onto the end again. Now the end this time, I cut it to the shape of it, which actually really helps with aligning it. Because you have a little more play with it. So like I said, I start with the left side here, get it lined up. Then you can kind of play with it a little bit. Push it out a little bit this way. And then you go down and up. And there we go. Nice. See how it's much easier when you cut it to the shape of it, because you can play with it a little bit more. Now here is the E how it was on the transfer tape. Okay, so we'll lift it off the backing. And we're going to do the same thing like we did with the S. So, same idea. We're going to line it up on the left side where it's supposed to be. Press down just on this side only. And then the scissors, X-Acto knife, or whatever you want to use. Make the same relief cuts. So you can do one at a time, you can do both cuts at once, however you feel. So like I said, you just angle it just right up to the here, and hold it tight to the right that way as you apply it. And it'll sit in there just right. Yeah, like it just did there. Kind of fell down a little bit. You just sneak something under real quick. Same thing. Now obviously if you don't feel comfortable using a knife or scissors, I would just put maybe some masking tape down on the centerpiece, cut that around, something like that. Protect your paint. And you can see you can adjust it a little bit if you mess up, but as soon as you apply real pressure though, that stuff is on there. And now same thing with the bottom one here, kind of came up a little bit here. Go from the end, maybe. There we go. So you always want to start from where you first push down and go out. And that stretches the vinyl to the right spot. Like that. There we go. Ta-da! Alright, so I hope that helps when you go to do these. Just really wanted to give you guys a better idea of what it looks like when doing it, because I didn't want somebody to just try to cut the letter out and apply it and then run into the issue where I did, where without cutting the relief cuts there for the S and E, you'll have things kind of crease and not move the way they're supposed to. So I hope it helps, and I hope everybody enjoys these. I have 60 different colors, regular colors, and then on top of that there's plenty more of chrome and glitter and oil slick, as well as the reflective, which, speaking of which I should say, is the reflective is a lot harder to deal with, in the fact that when you go to apply it, once it starts to stick, it's gonna stick pretty good. I don't know if you'll be able to really peel it back up like regular vinyl to adjust if you need to. So keep that in mind if you order reflective and you're going to try to do the reflective, that make sure you line it up and you press down the one spot and then get it all aligned just right, because if not, it's going to be hard to come up. And I know with the glare it's hard to see with this, but with the eye there, as you saw in the parts of the video, part of the paint was missing, and that actually just happened earlier today. When that happened, it actually peeled up the paint when I went to remove the vinyl. I don't think that normally would happen. I've not seen it happen before, and I've done it a few times now with the reflective on here, and that was the first. But just keep in mind. So, but this is, of course, you know, not the greatest condition bumper. So really, I mean, that probably plays part, and the fact that I've scraped off about 12 different sets of this lettering, scraping it off and trying to remove it. So I'm sure that played part in that paint coming out. But just so everyone's aware, you know, that happened and you saw what it looked like. So hopefully everything goes the way it's supposed to, and I can't wait to see these on there. So enjoy, and I will see you guys later.